look at my face, okay? Don't be embarrassed, just look at my face. And what I want you to do is just write down your first reaction, your first thought, the first thing that crosses your mind when you look at my face, nothing else. And be honest with yourselves, because nobody's going to look at this sheet of paper except for you. And I promise you that at the end of this presentation, I'm not going to run around and try to grab them off your laps there and try to figure out what you said or what you said. So my story dates back to about 1980, when I was in high school and I was really living this life on Easy Street because I was getting good grades and I was an athlete. And this is back in the days when our basketball shorts actually fit us on a basketball court. And then I began to feel these tingling sensations in my cheek. Kind of felt like ants crawling through my skin. And I just wanted to rip my cheek out because it itched so bad. So I made an appointment to go back and see my doctor, and at that point he determined that most likely it was a recurrence, scheduled me for another procedure. And at a certain point I began to realize that I could no longer control the outcomes of these surgical procedures that I was having. I could no longer control what might happen when I walked into a room of people like this, or when I walked into a bar or a party. I could not control how someone might react to me. I couldn't control what someone might say to me. I couldn't control if somebody's going to point at me. And worst, I couldn't control how I was going to deal with that. In fact, I couldn't even control what story I might tell somebody about what happened to me because I wasn't comfortable. Then there were a series of events that liberated me. And the first was meeting a girl named Dina. Dina, to me, was this gorgeous girl with this great attitude who took this immediate interest in me. But after spending this long weekend together, Dina just looked at me. And she said, "Terry, you have a lot of issues that I can't help you with. And you need constant reassurance, and I can't give you that." And so what she taught me really was that the scars on the inside had become far more disfiguring than the scars ever were on the outside. It really wasn't my physical appearance that was the issue. It was really my person that was the issue. And granted, that was a devastating moment, but it was also liberating in the sense that it put everything in perspective for me. And suddenly I began to realize that I didn't need to focus any longer on figuring out who the next wizard surgeon was going to be, who's going to fix my nose, fix my eye, fix my lip, right? Instead, I had to just focus on rebuilding what was inside. But you know, I guess no matter what I did, I couldn't get anybody to check me out. They just kept going right by. So it didn't really matter. Definitely the most significant turning point was being my wife. So I always say probably. Normally I can get away with it, but she's actually here today, so I'll probably hear about this later. But really, we had 2 dates together before the topic of what happened to me even came up in a conversation. So that told me a lot about Sue. She really wasn't concerned about whatever happened to me, but she cared about who I was as a person. And that really was the most significant turning point because she really did accept me for who I was, and to this day has never asked me to change. In fact, I wake up every morning and I lean over to give her a kiss, and most mornings anyway, and let me tell you, I'm a scary sight in the morning. My hair is sticking straight up, whatever hair I have left. My nose is crooked, my eyes droop, my lips pulled up. Actually, get this. Most mornings, I don't even have my teeth in my mouth, because I take them out at night most of the time. And she smiles back at me and kisses me back, most of the time, unless my breath's really bad on top of that. But never once in all these 15 years has she ever looked back at me and said, like some wives might, "You know, honey, maybe you ought to get your nose straightened out just a tad or get your eye lifted just a little bit, because I could do any of that if I wanted to." Now, the fact that I'm losing my hair and going bald is a whole nother issue that she's not real happy about, but I don't know what we're going to do about that one. Speak to medical professionals because I think it's a story they need to hear about how to deal with patients on a level besides medicine and besides science. I talk to students who I think are at high school students who are at a point in their life where self-esteem issues are so great, those challenges are so great as they leave high school, they're going to be on life on their own finally.
I speak to